What's
We're
up,
here.
Marshall?
What's up? We're ready to rock. This is us, Table Scraps. Lydia's in the bottom right corner, but we're not supposed to talk to her because she's working on a project for us. And we
In
pretty
case
much
you don't know,
we
show
forced
up
her be
Monday
here.
to see everything. It's gonna be great.
Super cool. So, don't interact with her. She's not really here. Just pretend like you can't see the top of her head. Also,
Nice.
maybe a bit shorter stream today. Because I'm not sick, but I'm not healthy. Like, I've got a ton of like messed up sinus stuff. My mom has like a sinus infection, so I'm probably not going to go for 2 hours just because I don't even know what we're going to talk about today.
I don't know either. Lydia doesn't like to talk to us.
We're probably just going to talk. We honestly, DJ, we might just stall and talk about like Crimson Waste stuff for like an hour and a half.
That's pretty rad. I like Crimson Way stuff. Should I pull out a notebook so I can take notes?
I mean, yeah. Get out everything that you might need. In the meantime, yeah.
We can talk about orcish diseases. Oh my gosh.
Oof, pumped. This is Table Scraps. We are the Paper Dungeon. We have a main campaign that we stream on Mondays at 7 p.m. CST. That's what we normally talk about on here, but we have been on hiatus because of Christmas and stuff. So we've done some cool, like, Q&A streams and pre-recorded stuff, and we restreamed episode 1. That was embarrassing. Haha, very funny. Good pun. Wordplay, 10 out of 10, Marshall.
It would be a crimson waste of time.
But other than that, hey, we have socials and stuff that you can follow us on. Although, come to think of it, we don't know if the
Oh yeah,
like if the things work.
I don't even know how to.
Oh dang, you're too fast for me, Maz. We also have a Discord, and Lydia has a super sick store that she makes stuff on, and you can buy, and you should do that because it's cool.
Supposedly, we're going to be getting
stuff.
DM designs soon, right, Lydia?
There's so many things that we've asked Lydia to make.
Yeah. I love the fact that Lydia's the nameplate for Lydia covers up like another like eighth of her screen.
Yeah.
So you like just barely have the top of her hat showing, and then even when she sticks her hand up, you just like have just the tip of her thumb sticking up.
Let's see if I can. Oh man. Oof, it has been a rough Christmas break.
Oh yeah.
As always.
As always.
And then, are we allowed to tell them about what we might do on, like, after the 18th, on that Monday after the 18th, when you guys come down here?
Actually, we can. We have confirmed. So, for those of you who don't know, on the 24th, we will be doing a live session of the main campaign. We are all going to be in Nebraska. So at Aaron's house, in the, we're going to say in the studio.
It's a basement.
Shh.
It's
in
where
the
I
studio,
live.
we're all going to be together. So we're going to be doing a live session. We got cameras. We're getting all new mics for it.
I've got
apparently.
a sick table.
Oh yeah, the table's really rad. So that
Built it
is
myself.
super exciting. So this month is going to be really rad. Stick around for next week because we have some awesome things dropping next week.
So lit.
And then the following week after that is going to be just a regular episode, but it's still going to be absolutely lit. And then the following week after that is a live episode where we're all hanging out together. So January of 2022 is shaping up to be pretty rad
January's
for
10
the
out of
Dungeon.
10. Maybe.
Plus, we should start
20
filming a couple side series pretty soon too. So that's pretty great.
So much work.
I know, right?
So much stuff to do. Oh man. Yeah. So be there. Got a whole bunch of cool stuff planned. Gonna make up for the kind of absence of fun stuff. Also, sorry about missing last week. Table Scraps.
Aaron was dying.
I was dying. Grant wasn't doing great. Lydia, like, could only be there for an hour, and then I don't think I had slept that day for like
So
30 hours.
all I'm hearing is Lydia could have stepped up for the team and didn't.
DJ, I will fight you.
I want you to know. I want you to know that she said I can only be there for 1 hour now, and I said, actually, you know what? Let's call it off. So it's super on me. I will take the bullet as resident HR of the Paper Dungeon. My bad.
I want to blame Lydia.
That's fine. But yeah, that's it. So
Great.
that's all the announcements that I can think of. We can sign off and go home, everybody. Good work.
Awesome. All right. So long. Bye.
It's nice doing you. Sick.
Thanks, friends.
Now that he's gone. Oh crap, he's still there.
Oh, dang.
Oh man.
Oh, good old professionalism of table scraps.
Yeah,
Great.
that's us. Well, I mentioned earlier, and by earlier I mean like we've been live for 8 minutes, so like 4 minutes ago, that we might just talk about Scarlet Waste stuff. So
Yes.
I have been working with DJ because in the main campaign we're going to go to my favorite place in the whole gosh dang campaign,
Dude, it's rad. I love it so much.
the Scarlet Wastes, and everything's gonna suck, and I'm so pumped for just everything terrible that's gonna happen. But because of that, because like, what?
I just bashed
Stop
my
in-
knee
Can you
into.
not injure yourself on
I'm
my
sorry.
segment of the Paper Dungeon?
I'm so
channel?
sorry, Eric. Just trying to pull up Orba's.
Yeah. So since I have worked on a whole bunch of the like Scarlet Wastes and the orcs and stuff, Gigi was like, "Yo, should do some stuff for that," and I was like, "Sick, I'm on it."
Yeah.
I actually drew one of the creatures that I'm throwing in there on stream. Now we've got just so many more things. Now,
I know. Now you just have like another 23 things to draw or something like that.
yeah.
What did you draw?
Actually,
Did you...
I think right now I have
Oh, you
14 individual things that need drawn. One of them I already have done at least. So I think I might have 2 or 3 done. Maybe 4? I don't know. But
There's 15 things here,
one
and
of them
I
is an
know of
Auroch though.
2 of them. Oh, you're right.
So-
14 things. And I know of 2 of them that have been designed.
Mm-hmm. And I've posted a couple of them on Discord.
Yeah,
So
if you want to be
this will let-
terrified, go check that
But
out.
then, so I made a just a rough draft letter version for DJ so that way he could actually get to work on stuff. And I have even thought of some more things that I need to put on there.
That'd be nice.
But out of the let's see. Oh, good, it pulled up on the right screen. Out of the things that you're seeing on their DJ, do you have any personal favorites that you're looking forward to or that you just find really interesting?
Dude, the blood pearls are actually super interesting.
Yeah.
Especially, I love the oxymoron that the blood pearls are. It's like the blood pearls, and you're like, oh my gosh, something's gonna blow up, or I'm gonna get
Like, it's
poisoned.
terrible.
And it's like
I hate
the
it.
only like good thing in the wastes.
Yeah, it's that's literally the case. So I made one of the things. This is actually a thing that I need to add to the rough draft, but I can just talk about it here. So one of the things that I really want to push about the Scarlet Wastes is that everything in there has a use of some way and can often be like very valuable. The problem is that like no one can go in there because it sucks. Like, it's like, are you really willing to risk all that for something that is really valuable, even though you're probably going to die because you won't get any money if you're dead. So like all of the things that are in here have some kind of secondary use or like can be crafted into something, because I love crafting like magic items and things out of things that you kill. So like the blood pearls can be used to make different types of healing potions depending on how many pearls you have. and they can also be used as like material spell components for necromancy spells that heal.
Mm-hmm.
My personal favorite that I've thought of like yesterday, and it's the last thing that I've written, is the Marionette's Wire.
Yeah, I was looking at
I think it's so cool. Um, so the Marionette's Wire, I was thinking about it, and I was like, I need more plants. I've covered a lot of different types of
Oh,
plants. One
I
thing
just
that
got to the second half of it. Oh my
uh
gosh.
huh, one thing that I
Oh,
haven't covered yet is like a vining plant, which we're in a desert, so like how does that work? What does it look like? And the Marionette's Wire is a semi-sentient plant that grows where like people have died from hanging. So like
yeah. Like,
trees, like tall rock outcroppings, the on the shores of the Scarlet Wastes, there are like some big cliffs that certain sects of orcs live inside of and like breed the giant bats that they ride. And so like on the edges of those cliffs you'll have a whole bunch of like these hanging vines, and what they do is they like lash out and like stab into prey,
mm-hmm.
and then like slowly suck the nutrients out of them, and then the creature doesn't even necessarily die for like a couple of days. They just hang there as their like nutrients are absorbed, and then the marionette wires will puppeteer them around to either lure more prey in or defend itself. So it'll have like 3 or 4 like dead travelers that it is like just hanging there like puppets that'll like attack things and like throw them around like marionettes.
That's terrifying.
I know, right?
It's great. And then it's one of the few things that when you like, if you get some of the vines, you can like craft things from it and such, just like everything else. But you can make an item that I personally love called Dern's Tentacle Whip.
Oh yeah.
I am a sucker for symbiotic, gosh dang magical items. Like they're like parasites, and so Dern's Tentacle Whip, it might actually be in.
Cautious.
No, Eberron. Because Eberron is where a lot of the like symbiote magical items are, and what it literally is a whip that is a tentacle that fuses into your arm, and you can like cause it to like extend from your arm at will. And once you've attuned to it, you can't unattune unless someone casts remove curse on you.
Yeah.
I love weird freaky magic items that do stuff like that, that kind of have their own like their like a mind of their own, and like hide themselves, or like are particularly gruesome in the way that you attune to them. And it's like a good item, and it checks off another box, which is no one uses whips. No one ever uses whips. Like,
no one ever uses whips.
Why would you, when there's so many other better options for weapons in the game? And so it just marks a lot of boxes for me. You can also
sheath
make
the whip by causing it to retract into your arm.
Yeah.
Gross.
Yeah, it just nestles right in there.
That's terrible.
But yeah, and you can also make a tentacle rod out of it, which is what the drow use to like strike people, and it's a good magic item. But yeah, that's one of my personal favorites that I have drawn up as of yet. Oh,
yeah, those are pretty rad.
Also, kind of forgot about this one. Not gonna lie. Just below it, razor wisps.
I know. I was just reading that too.
And so I was then thinking to myself, I was like, I want something that does like an environmental effect, but isn't like actively malicious.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, I messaged DJ and I was like, DJ, how wide from east to west, and how tall from north to south is the Scarlet Wastes? And he was like, Aaron, why would I know that?
I don't need to know the exact dimensions of my fantasy world.
Exactly.
I'm not that insane.
Because I wanted it to make, like, I don't know. I have a really bad concept of distance. I'm really bad at it.
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't know if it's like 20 miles across, like 80,
it's,
100, 5, 2, 1? Is it a
It's
20
probably
minute
close to, like-
jog?
it's probably close to like 400 to 500 miles, maybe.
4 to 5, wow. That's a lot of miles. Might have to increase the radius on these. But they're basically like little leafy plants that instead of obtaining nutrients from like water and like oxygen and things, they take metal from the ground and synthesize it into their like leaves and stems. So they turn into like thin, flexible, silvery gray leaves that are like razor sharp. But still weigh the same amount as regular leaves. So when the leaves fall off and the winds pick them up, they basically just launch like thousands of tiny razor blades through the air, and just like cut people to shred. And it isn't that the plant is like, ah, yes, I'm out to kill you. No, it's just a regular plant
It's
that just happens to be incredibly deadly when launched at very high speeds.
Yeah.
But I was thinking about it, and that also provides a really cool option for druids. Because druids have the stipulation where they can't wear, like, metal or use, like, shields that are made of metal or armor that are metallic. But this would allow them to, like, if you could get enough of these leaves
You
to
could make an
craft,
armor out of
like,
it.
plate mail.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, of course you have to, like, gain proficiency in plate mail.
Yeah.
You could have like a full-on druid wearing plant plate mail armor.
I think it'd probably be close
That's
to
so
like
cool.
a scale mail, but yeah.
I mean, you could do anything.
How big are the
really.
leaves? How big are the
Probably
leaves?
about the size of your palm.
Okay. All right. That's bigger than
So,
I thought.
like-
I thought they were gonna be like that big.
No. These are like big tropical like leafy plants.
I see.
That just grow in like groves of like shining metal. And theoretically, you probably could like, I don't know, I don't know if you could melt them down. Like they aren't solid metal. They're just
No,
like plants with
I
the
would say you
properties of
probably.
metal.
Yeah, I think they just are tough as metal. They're not like solid metal.
So, I don't know, but I'm sure that if you got creative with it,
Oh yeah,
you could think of a way to make plate mail out of big plant leaves.
yeah. I mean, let's look this up. Plant leaf plate mail.
I'm very
Images.
excited for this.
Well, that's not exactly what I meant. The
Well, now I
first
wanna
picture
know.
that pops up is plate mail that has like vines growing out of it.
I mean,
Like, I understand fantasy. This is. Oh, there we go.
I don't get any of that. I just have pictures of plants.
Yeah. See, well, I can't share screen, but yeah, you could probably do something like this. Yeah,
Yeah.
it'd be a thing. Sorry, I can't
Like
can't
actually show us.
show
Yeah.
it because I can't share screen.
One
or-
day we'll figure it out. That
Yeah,
we can just real switch through that super easy. I don't know how to do
Okay.
that yet, but yeah. And so I was like, that's super cool, because sometimes I want to play a druid that's like real just tanky.
Yeah.
And, like, what are you gonna do? Like where? Like you just can't.
bark.
Yeah, there's nothing you can do.
Gotta find like an ironwood
Just a
tree.
whole tree trunk. Just
Yeah.
wear it around you like a skirt. Hollow out the
I mean,
center.
maybe that's what Track should have done. Track should have been an orcish druid who just had a trunk
Yep.
around his chest.
Hello there. My name is Tarak. I am a... Yeah. Could you imagine him being a nature domain cleric?
What would his name still be the same if
Yeah.
he was a druid?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even the sheath blade.
Probably.
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking like his extra names?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, okay. So the thing is,
Come on, Mr.
if he was a like spellcaster, a lot of
Mhm.
things, like primarily spellcaster, a lot of things would have to be changed backstory wise, where he
Oh, well,
probably
yeah.
wouldn't be a child of Urtrus in that
Oh, yeah.
situation. He would probably
More
be
like
a
a
child
child
of
of Shargoth.
Luthic.
Of Luthic.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
Most
that makes
clerics
sense.
that are orcs are children of Luthic.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Now it is a very interesting concept because so I was thinking about it, and cleric domain, like nature domain,
Mm-hmm.
is like not a thing that people really choose to play for a lot of
Yeah.
reasons. Like, why would you play that when you could just play a druid?
Yeah.
But they have a very interesting little skill that is not given to druids, at least not like very early. They might get it like later, because druids are a lot more like animal focused.
Yeah.
But nature domain clerics, let me see if I can get to it. I'm blind.
Acolyte of nature, bonus
There it is.
proficiency, charm animals and plants, dampen elements,
So-
divine strike.
That right there, their 17th level ability
Master of nature.
and their charm animals and plants. That is like a super valuable thing if you think about it in the Scarlet Wastes. Because if you have the ability to take control of the plants around you,
Yeah,
like
all the
in the
deadly plants
wastes,
that want to
that's
kill
like
you.
super important. I could have sworn there was a thing. I don't remember where it is. Maybe it is a druid thing or something else like that. But there's one that like basically plants have trouble harming you, and I can't remember if it's a druid thing or something else. But like I was kind of thinking the dwarves might have a higher quantity of like plant-based clerics and druids. Yeah, the like circle of the land stride. Moving through non-magical difficult terrain costs no extra movement. You can also pass through non-magical plants without being slowed by them and without taking damage from them if they have thorns, spines, or a similar hazard.
Nice.
And
Talking about nature paladins.
no, I'm just talking about circle of the land druid. The like
land
the circle that no one ever takes, because like why would you take it if you could just be any other druid subclass?
Fair.
But like in this specific circumstance, like in this kind of area where everything around you is a plant that is like kind of actively trying to kill you, having the ability to just like walk through, like they're the type of person that could walk through a field of razor wisps and just
be
be
fine.
completely undamaged.
Just they'd be like a god to the orcs. They'd just be like
100%.
walking through with like the red sun behind them, just walking through
100% as
unscathed.
the like the land parts around them. So like the dwarves might have a high concentration of these because they need a way to get into and out of the wastes safely. And so like simple solution, if you plant a whole bunch of razor wisps like on the borders or on the entrances to like where you're trying to get into and out of your areas, and you have like one real strong druid or cleric to just like run through those and like guide your own people through, and then the orcs have to deal with these like incredibly dangerous plants. It's like a super valuable asset.
Is that what the next major NPC should be? Just some circle of the land druid who's
I would love
to hang out with you guys.
I love more. I mean, I love using classes that people like don't ever play.
Yeah.
Like
well,
subclasses
you're
and
at
stuff.
the point. You're at the point in your D&D career where you've played all the popular stuff and you're bored with it.
So now I just have to.
Now you have to challenge yourself.
Find my way through the other stuff.
Yeah.
So like I've loved Circle of the Land Druid for a very long time. It's not good. I will never claim to be like, oh yeah, it's the most broken druid thing. I just think it's neat.
Yeah.
Like,
well, and that's another
I think
thing.
it's got some
like,
cool stuff.
What's up, Neelif?
I hope we pronounce it different every time.
Well, never mind.
Nilif,
Never mind.
Nilf, Neolith, Neolethotep,
Neo left Neo, just Neo, the
Neo.
character from
I
the
know kung
Matrix.
fu.
That's right. Aw. So yeah. Anyway, hey, where'd Lydia go?
Oh, she's there.
Oh, hi Lydia. How's it going?
Nice.
My mouse got stuck. Sorry. Hi.
Hi.
How's your art coming along?
Um. hmm.
Great.
Good talk, Lydia.
Uh,
But yeah, like I think it's just fun.
yeah. No, 100%. And it's kind of cool because one of the things that I love about um, the opportunities that the Paper Dungeon provides is that it's not really about being awesome or super powerful, but a lot of times it's really about just creating interesting characters, which can be really fun when they're super broken when you do a freaking barbarian druid or whatever the freaking thing is.
Only
But
if your DM allows it.
yeah, but at the same time, it's also really fun, and I think that's I don't want to say maturing in your D&D career because it's not maturing, but I think it's one of the things that you usually grow into is less about feeling super awesome and more about kind of having an interesting and dynamic character and stuff like that. Sorry if I'm offending anybody, but that's.
Oh no, I think you're right there, and this is a very interesting thing because, so I've actually had some pretty long conversations recently with Grant about different types of players and player bases and things like that, and differentiating the RP and the G part of RPG, because I'm almost for sure I've had this exact conversation on this show before. And I'm going to do it again.
We're just repeating content at this point.
I mean, if it's good content. But like, you are definitely more of an RP type player.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
And I think in general, the newer you are to like Dungeons and Dragons, like a lot of like fifth edition in its whole is very RP based.
Yeah.
Like that is what it's focused on, and it's good and it's awesome. Now, when I first started to play Dungeons and Dragons, way back in the day when I was just still young, when I still had hopes and dreams, never had those. The people that taught me how to play Dungeons and Dragons were, like they grew up on like 2nd and 3rd edition.
Yeah.
So like I actually still talk to a dude. He's actually messaged on one of our TikToks before. A really good guy. Jeff,
yeah.
he owns the game store that I played at. I talked to him a little while ago, and he was running a game, and he was like, "Hey, Aaron, do you want to see my maps?" And I was like, "Jeff, you know that I want to see your maps." He brought out. I have an 8-foot long table. I have like it is a banquet table. He brought out 3 to 4 dungeon maps that each individually were 8 feet long. And they were using super sick grid lines. So they were using like, they weren't straight up and down grids. They were like rhomboid grid lines. So he was able to like convey levels and stuff and like the movement of like rooms up and down. And he was like, I got a group of people and I was like, hey, I want to run a game that is a lot more reminiscent of older Dungeons and Dragons. And so we've played 2 to 3 sessions, and the first session they entered the dungeon, and in the 3rd session they got to the 25% waypoint.
Nice.
To the dungeon. They have not left. And then like he told me some basic like plot of like what's going to go down and like what the whole thing is. And the entire campaign took place in like the same dungeon. And it was just like levels upon levels of like you enter a room, it's one of those, like, solve a puzzle, grind. It's a dungeon crawl.
Yeah, it's like the yawning portal.
Oh yeah. and the kind of theme of it was like these people came from like the above ground and the ice was melting, and like
Yeah.
it's frozen over like ice age world, ice melts. They realize that there's a tunnel downwards, and at the 25% mark they find a city underground
Oh,
that
cool.
assumed that everything above ground was wiped out by the cold, and the people above ground assumed that everything below ground was wiped out by the cold. So neither one of them knew about the individual groups of people, and it was like it was so cool to see, because like
And
that is not a super common style of game anymore.
no. And well, and that's the thing about it is the whole game of D&D has shifted. Like if
Oh
someone
yeah.
were to create D&D nowadays, it would not be called Dungeons and Dragons.
Mm-mm.
You know, like back in first edition, second edition, whatever, it was about you're either in the ground doing a dungeon crawl or you're up above ground fighting a dragon.
Yeah, and
You
it
know, or
was,
something of similar
or
proportion.
the core tenets were money, wealth, power, and influence.
Yeah.
So like you go into a dungeon, you get money, you grow stronger, and then you use that money to increase your power and influence across the world, and like build a wizard tower,
Yeah.
or like fund a city and become like ruler of a kingdom or fiefdom or whatever.
Yeah.
And I love that stuff. That's like
Yeah.
I told you guys the first time we played Vysen. I was like, there's this really cool aspect of Vysen where you head back to your like main base, then you can use experience that you've gathered on, like, instead of upgrading yourself, you can upgrade your facilities. That is like my favorite thing in the world.
Yeah.
That like that's all I would do. Like my
Would
character would be a level 1 character forever.
Should we
Because all I would
incorporate
want.
some stuff like that in the second campaign?
I mean, you can. Now, the cool part about kind of how I've been trying to play Dungeons and Dragons for a long time is I try to kind of fit the things that I like into just how I play without interfering with what other people do.
Yeah.
Another awesome thing about Vysen that I know I've said before, and I want it on a goddamn t-shirt, maybe a plaque. I don't know. Is it is the player's responsibilities to make sure that they are having fun.
Yeah. 100%.
And I think that is incredibly true and incredibly honest.
Oh.
Where like
yeah.
I like to play the game in a way that honestly a lot of the rest of the cast members, that isn't what they find super entertaining a lot of the time. But I found a way to include it, the kind of in my own play style, without taking away from anyone else's fun.
Yeah.
Like it isn't about the things that I like; they're just happen to be there.
Yeah, and that's where the dynamic between the DM and the player comes into play. Like, obviously, I 100% agree. It is the player's job to make sure they're having fun, but it's the DM's job to give that opportunity a chance, basically.
To allow them to have their own fun.
Exactly. You know, like if I'm just gonna sit there and just shut down everything that you're gonna do and that you're trying to do and not give you any glory or make you feel good or anything like that, that's not fun. You know, and there is obviously a balance. You know, for us as a roleplay group, the dramatics of it and the trauma from some of that type of stuff is very important. You know, it's what builds good stories. But doing it in a way that allows for you guys to still have fun in the trauma. Put that hashtag that, have fun in your trauma.
Welcome to 2022.
Welcome to 2022. Have fun, hashtag have fun in your trauma. But allowing that to still happen is super important. So yeah, 100%. I like that. We should make a plaque of that and hang it up when you guys move out here.
Look, I totally would. I just got a spot for it right here. That's where it would hang.
It's right there.
It would be great.
We'll just put it right there.
Right
great.
there. But yeah, and yeah, it's that's the whole thing. Also, this just a PSA. DJ brought up something to me just before this, and I'm still kind of laughing about it. It was the TikTok thing, like messages on TikTok. This may be something that
so
perhaps
funny.
some of you don't know. So recently we released a TikTok that was about the Wisteria Vale one shot. And it was the scene where Lydia's character and Drew's character are having a conversation about beholders. And Lydia's character was just not getting it. Now, at that moment, this Lydia's character is not exactly the most intelligent
No.
I've ever seen in my life. A couple of these kind of situations had happened before. Just a few, every once in a while. But I mean, more than just a few.
Like 18 times.
Okay, let's not go that far. It was like maybe 8. No, I would say 5. I'd give it
Me and
a
Grant
nice 5.
were very distracted.
You are forms of chaos that the world should fear. And so at that point in time, I listened to the like confusion, and I thought to myself, A, I really don't see an out for either of the characters here. They're kind of hitting a roundabout situation. And B, I don't think that Lydia's character will ever get this. And it's a very important part.
She never would have gotten this.
To understand what is actually happening in this story. And so I was like, all right, we're just going to fast forward a little bit. Like 20 minutes pass. Lydia, you think that they're talking about a creature named a beholder, like it is a creature type. And apparently people really didn't like that.
Cutting off the role play. Horrible DM.
Horrible
How dare
DM.
you stop the
4
role
out
play.
of 10.
And
4 out of 10.
and the other thing I was thinking about with it is it's like I do that all the time. Like, and the best highlight of that is with Aubrey.
Oh,
where
yeah.
it's I just ramble for the comedic effect and wait for you guys to cut me off. Like, that's the purpose of that being there. But
Yep. Now, the nice part about Aubrey was that, like, she was intelligent enough that, like, it wasn't like she was confused. Someone would just be like, stop.
Right.
And you'd be like, oh, my bad. Bro.
Yeah.
That character was dumb as a brick.
According to that guy, you know, Aaron, you are
Horrible DM.
just the worst
Horrible
DM.
DM.
Definitely not the one that taught me how to do everything.
So I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of insight into a behind the scenes look at DMing on a live show. There's a little thing that we have called the time limit. It's crazy, I know.
No.
Yep. On average, our games go for around 4 hours. 4 hours sounds really, really long. When you hear it, you're like, oh my god, 4 hours?
It's not long at
Like
all.
that's like 1/6 of the whole day. Something like that. It's not.
Not a long time.
It's
Look,
not.
when we were first getting together and you guys were like, yeah, we're gonna aim for 4 hours like Critical Role. I'm like, that's gonna be so hard.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, because all of the sessions I've played before were like 6 hours. Most of them were actually 8 hours.
Gross.
Like,
Could
those
not
were the
imagine
sessions
doing that.
I played. So I was like,
could.
when you're like 4, I was like, this will be interesting.
I could not imagine regularly DMing an 8-hour session.
Oh, you've
No,
got to.
that's
You can't do it
Oh
like
my
every week. You've got to do it
gosh.
like
I could do that once every 3 weeks, maybe.
Yeah, no.
Once
like,
a month.
once a month, or maybe twice a month. There were times where I individually played D&D for over 8 hours a week, like 8 hours on a day, multiple times in a week. But they were like different games at least.
Yeah, well, we had that at one point where there were 5 different games, and so we just played D&D every single night for like 4 months straight. But that was different, you know. That was like, hey, we're gonna play for 2 or 3 hours, and then there'd be some times where we didn't play and we just hung out or did whatever. Like that's different than playing like an
Just
8-hour
a
session
1
once
8
a
hour
week.
with like the same people. Yeah. So this nifty little thing called the time limit. 4 hours really isn't that long. That conversation about beholders could have gone for 20 minutes. 20 minutes is like, what is that? 1, 2, 4,
1/3 of an hour.
1/8 of the time that we have.
Well, it'd be 1/12 of the time.
1/12?
but still. Because
1 hour,
it's a
2
third
hour,
of an
4 hour,
hour.
4
4
hour.
hours times 3 is 12, so 1/12.
Oh shoot, I forgot 60 minutes is 20 goes into 60 minutes. I was just rounding it to 30. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, yeah, it's 20 minutes is close enough to 30 minutes. It's good enough. But that's like a substantial part of it. So
Oh yeah.
in like a home game where we're just chilling and we can go for however long, I probably wouldn't have stopped it, or at least I would have let it go for a little while longer. Um, but also, there's DMing is sometimes difficult in the respect that I agree that um, the DM should encourage role play. Like obviously that is always the case. But it is also the DM's job to make sure, in some regards, that the party maintains some form of plot and tract.
And that's the big thing with us, is like, sure, even if 4 hours wasn't a long time to be DMing or playing, even if you wanted to do say 6 hours or 7 hours, we still have to be entertaining that entire time.
Mm-hmm.
It can't be like, your high school games where you're playing and four people aren't paying attention because there's just one person in the DM doing something and all this type of stuff. Like, it has to be entertaining to the audience for that entire time, and you have to maintain a certain level of quality while doing that.
Mm-hmm.
So as you're getting tired, you have to fight through it and keep going. So, like, I mean, we can make sessions 6 to 8 hours long, but the quality of those sessions would probably be pretty
gonna go down. It's also just it's tiring at times.
Oh yeah, we're always
it doesn't matter
exhausted
how
after
much fun you have with it, because god dang, that's rough.
It's always
like,
exhausting.
You're in overdrive for like 4 to however long you play hours. I mean, there was that one time we recorded 2 sessions of Between the Rows.
Oh my gosh, that was rough.
One after another, and those are only 2-hour sessions. Felt like 10.
Well, I think we recorded like the second to last episode and the last episode.
Yep. And so that was
6 hours.
Yeah.
And that was rough.
Whew.
Especially the finale.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And it is hard because, like, it's not like with regular D&D where you're just kind of chilling and relaxing. Like, everybody is paying attention all the time because everybody wants to make sure that if something happens, they can step in to keep that entertainment going. So that's difficult. And that's not us saying, like, woe is us. Like, we love it and we love doing this by any means. But yeah, it's definitely more difficult than it seems.
But yeah, and so
So long story short,
honestly,
T-shirts that says the paper
4 out of
Dungeons
10.
Works,
I would love
it.
Oh my god, could you imagine? You know how movies have the like these popular gosh dang critic services rated us at 10 out of 10 and it shows like a whole list of things. I would love that, but it's just bad reviews where it's like 4 out of 10 would not watch. Like, and it's just the back of the shirt is just filled with quotes from our TikTok that are negative reviews of the show. and don't think that I'm like being like angry or upset. I honestly found it funny.
Roast the trolls.
But yeah, like keep in mind it's not the same as a home game. No matter we love playing Dungeons and Dragons. We try to keep it as close to a home game experience as possible. I think that's a pretty fair statement. It can't be done on a streamed thing unless it's a real bad stream.
It's interesting because of the paper dungeon, I have gotten like my dream home game aside from a couple quick little things like at the moment we're not doing maps and stuff like that, which I would love to do, like battle maps and stuff.
We're getting there.
But we're working on it,
You'll have one in a couple weeks.
Crap, I need to figure out what the session in a couple weeks so I can make maps for it. Anyway, but yeah, so like it's fun because this whole experiment of like let's do the paper dungeon has allowed me to have like my dream group and campaign and all this type of stuff. But it's definitely a lot different than I don't want to say normal D&D because D&D is such a wide
spectrum
is, but still.
It's just not going to be the same as like when you're casually sitting around a table playing like an RPG.
Yeah. Can't eat as many snacks.
Huh?
I said you can't eat as many snacks.
Oh no, you can.
Bro,
I ate like half a stick of beef, like on stream.
I was joking because I I'm the one that's always eating snacks on stream.
I remember when I had to edit the podcast, I was so mad at you, DJ, for all the chewing.
Drew
Oh,
loves
man.
me. He's a fan of me.
Chewing and the pen clicking. I remember the pen
Oh,
clicking being
but
a
you've
big
done
thing.
so much better with that.
You have done
Yeah,
much
the
better.
pen clicking
Either
was
that or
bad.
your mic quality has gotten better so that it doesn't like pick up the bad stuff as much. One of the two.
That's true. Maybe I just need to like start pushing the mic away from me.
No.
Although the nice thing is,
Um.
if we get some of the tech upgrades that we're looking at, the mic won't be here for me anymore.
Ooh.
I gotta
Awesome.
mute here in a second, but
Oh, yeah?
Hold on, train of thought left. It's coming back.
Choo
Hold on,
choo
coming around.
in the station.
Okay, when we replayed the first episode,
Yeah.
dude,
Was
we've
it terrible?
changed so much.
I haven't
Oh, yeah.
watched. I haven't
have-
watched it yet.
Evolved. And I was actually talking with.
Do you mean evolved or devolved?
Evolved?
Okay,
Well,
good.
and one of the biggest things was I was talking to my mom about, like, DJ, you've always been confident.
Well, yeah,
but
what's
it's
not to be
like-
confident about? I'm the best.
Okay, well, maybe I'll hold this one. No, we were talking about
Compliment retracted.
like it's like you started off confident, and then now it's not that you've gained more confidence, like you've still been like confident in it, but it's just you know how to navigate all of us as players
Mm-hmm.
now. And it's like seeing the difference between that is like really, really, really cool to go back and see. I am gonna be honest, when the thing went going, as soon as I started talking, I turned it off. I was like, no, I can't see it anymore.
I can't watch myself do this.
But yeah, it was really crazy. And Tarak is so different too.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh,
Track has
Track is-
changed drastically as a
different.
Yeah.
as a character, as how I've chosen to play him.
Yeah.
Way different.
Well, it's that's one of the things that it makes me really sad. I shouldn't say I'm sad. I would encourage you, if you and your group have never done a long-term campaign where you're playing for 9 months or longer, maybe 6 months or longer, but if you are the type of group that plays like, you quickly bust through Strahd in 3 months, or you bust through whatever, I would highly encourage you guys to play a campaign that is a long-term campaign where you keep the same characters throughout the whole thing. No switching it out, no saying, you know what, I'm bored of this guy, I'm going to switch them out or do whatever. Just play the long-term campaign and genuinely try to just think as your character would think, and then just watch them evolve. Like, it's such a fun experience to grow and evolve with the character.
So this is actually that made me think of a thing that I've been trying to get across for a long time, where a lot of people. How do I want to start off this conversation? So there is a statement which is, "It is what my character would do."
Yeah.
I think we can all universally agree we don't really like that statement.
If that's what your character would do, don't make a character that would do that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so that concept of the like, if that's what your character would do, and that is clearly something that you agree is like not a cool thing, don't make your character like that. That can be carried through anything. I think I've had a conversation with Lydia at one point in time where she asked me something, and I was like, if you want it to be a way, just do that. And I've talked with a bunch of people, and most often they're like, well, I want it to like make sense with the story. I'm like, it doesn't have to.
No.
If you realize that this is a thing that you want to do, or like something that you want to stop doing because you don't think that it's fun or cool, just do that. And probably other people will just go along with it just as well. And if they ask you a question, just make it up. That's the joy of ad-libbing. Like if someone is like, oh my god, why did you choose to do that? That's not like you. Be like, well, over the past course of things, I've noticed how this has affected other people, and I don't like that, so I decided to do it differently.
Yeah.
Um,
When I was 6 years old, I was traumatized at the circus. So now I burn down every circus tent I can see.
yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Perfect.
Glad I
Probably
can
not
help
the
clarify that.
um but yeah, it's that role playing is very difficult and also not at all.
Well, it's crazy. It's kind of fun. One of the key rules of improv is don't try and change something. Just say yes and just
Mm-hmm.
build off of it. Just whatever it is, just take it and go. And sometimes that works. Like you learn the balance of like what are like okay things to bring in and stuff like that. But for the most part, like if you just go yes and, you're gonna have a great role play. You're gonna have a great improv moment. That's just a pretty in general way of going about it. That is a really kind of great universal rule. Um, so
So
yeah, like
I came across a kind of cool concept that I really like because I don't always think that yes and is necessarily the correct thing to do either. But
mhm,
they actually included a whole bunch of things where they were like, what is important is that you do not end with either a yes or a no. What is
mhm,
important is that you say yes or no and then add something after that. So it might be
yeah,
a no, but,
mhm.
or a like a oh geez, I can't remember.
Yes and.
There was yes and no but, like yes unless,
Mhm.
and like things like that. Where the important thing is that when someone says something and you are ad libbing, you don't just end the statement because it's also not fun if you just say
Yeah.
yes.
No, yeah, definitely. It's definitely a response and then build on it.
And there are some times when someone will say something and you're like, that's a really bad line.
Hmm.
Like I cannot see a way that this is going to go, so you need to respond with like no,
Yeah.
but like this,
Hmm.
and then kind of shift it and change it in a way to like improve it. And that is, I think that is some of the
Yeah.
best advice I've seen for ad libbing.
And the fun thing about it too, when it comes to D&D, is that um, as you learn your character and you begin to understand how your character thinks, you have kind of these guiding principles
Mm-hmm.
for that ab libbing. Versus like I remember when we took like a theater class and we do like improv exercises and stuff like that. Like it's way different to go off of a prompt and just see where that takes
Oh
you
yeah,
versus like going through a situation with someone that you quote unquote know and like understand and stuff like that. So
yeah.
it's
It's the
very
difference
fun, very
between
interesting.
being given a prompt and being given a character.
Yeah,
Where it's like,
exactly.
hey, you are Dave, you're 35, and you've worked at this shoe store for the past 20 years,
Hmm.
like blah 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 blah. Go, and they're like, well, what's the plot? And you're like, no, 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 you are this character. That's how do you go through your daily life? Like, what do you do? And it's like, well, I don't know anything about shoe stores, but I'll make it up.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
and then the longer you play as Dave, the shoe store merchant,
The more you know about the
um,
shoes, the
yeah,
styles, the lifestyle, his wife, his kids.
and the ways that you kind of develop that is you draw on the things that you do know. So it's like,
Hmm.
okay, he's worked there for 20 years. Either A, he really likes this job, or B, he really doesn't, but just doesn't have a way out of it.
Yeah,
Or he's just very loyal, and it isn't a matter of like or dislike. It's just what you do. I'm
it's
Dave, the
just
shoe
what you
store
do.
merchant.
Hmm.
So you pick out of those three things, and then like I would probably go with the like I've been working here for 20 years and like I know my stuff and I'm probably going to
Hmm.
work here until I die because that's like
Yeah.
what I do. So it's a very systematic like movement, like
Hmm.
old as time kind of feel even though he's only like 37.
Yeah, exactly. It's
Um
that. It's like if you ever watch like blind people move through their apartment,
mhm.
where it's like they just go to the exact spot because they know the exact
Yeah.
like I go 6 steps forward and then 2 steps over and then there's this cabinet that I have this thing in at right this point and then hold on yards. Like
Mhm.
I would totally picture the character doing that thing where he's like if he's been in the same job for 30 years or however long, like I would do the same thing. Just be
Oh
like,
yeah.
yeah.
Um
Although the monotony would drive me crazy, but that's just me. That's
so,
not. I'm not Dave.
so that's totally a me thing. I was talking to Grant and he responded to me with, "Wow, it's crazy, Aaron, how completely different we are." Because I said, "Grant, I can't wait until like I get to do the exact same thing every single day."
I would hate that so much.
That is like my desire. I want to like wake up, do the exact same thing that I've done for the past 5 years, for the like over and over and over again. I know what to expect.
That's terrible.
And then, like, I can do other things in the evening, but the concept of doing something in the evening is the same thing that I've done for the past 5 years.
Yeah.
And that is like the thing that I'm a big pattern guy. I love to repetition.
Nope.
And just doing stuff. It's so funny because I talk with like you and Grant.
Yeah.
We're like, no, I just want to be free and try something new every day of my life. I'm like, that sounds horrible.
Yeah. Well, I'm just laughing at this because literally I think I haven't looked on Instagram in a long time. But I think my bio on Instagram is still adventure may hurt, but monotony will kill you.
I'm in.
I hate it. It's my least favorite way of going about things.
I love it.
Which is really annoying because I'm also a very like performance and success driven person, and the way that you have good performance and success is with monotony of just like constant unwavering repetition of doing your stuff.
So one of the reasons that I have always wanted to own a store is so that way I don't have to I can make my own schedule that I can stick to and I don't change
forever.
Yeah.
You know? It's not a, hey, what am I working this week and when am I working that week? It's no, I'm working. And the once every 4 years that I want to take a vacation.
Well, I mean, that's the beautiful thing, right? So also, I don't know what I do on a vacation. Grant asked me.
You would go back to you'd go to the same spot every single time.
Mm-hmm.
You'd probably, here's what I would imagine. You would figure out where you think you want to go for the rest of your life. Like, hey, when I vacation, like, where would I like to go? I don't know, Fiji or something, whatever. I don't know if Fiji's right.
That's way too exotic.
Amsterdam.
I would go fishing in the U.S. probably a couple miles away. I love fishing.
Do you like fishing? I did not know that.
Bro,
how have I known you for 12 years and not know that you love fishing?
I have my own fly rod and make my own flies.
You go fly. I want to learn how to fly fish.
It has been a long time since I've been able to fish, but I do know how to fly fish. I don't think I've ever caught anything.
When you come out here, like, let's go fly fishing.
I'm bringing my poles.
Yes.
I think I have too.
This is the beauty of table scraps. I just learned something new about Aaron that I've known forever, and now I have a friend that I can go fly fishing with. This is great.
By the way, have a good sleep. Liv, hope you feel better. Also, thank you for your positivity. I mentioned 100%. One of your questions on the you messaged us over Twitter that I took like half a year to respond to. But it was a very kind thing, and you were just always a point of positivity.
You're awesome.
Chat, so
I hope
thank you very much for that.
You recover from COVID soon.
Yeah, no, I love fishing. Fishing is like such a me thing. You get to sit there. I'm the type of guy who would throw a line in the water with no bait on it, just so people don't bother him.
You are the type of guy who would throw a line in with no water.
And the best part is I don't even like fish. So like,
I know. I hate fish. I don't see. That's why I've never been like a fishing guy, because regular fishing, just throwing a line in and waiting for something to catch and then pull it in and eating it, is not my go-to thing. But like fly fishing, there's a lot more to it. Obviously, you have the flies and you're having to make them jump and do whatever and emulate whatever animal they are.
It's actually a lot less exciting than you think it is.
Well, I'm hoping that it's more exciting, because that's the only type of fishing I would ever be interested in. And I would just catch and release the whole thing.
Oh, yeah.
You know? Or maybe I'd sell it, I guess.
The majority of fly fishing, that like movement to do that, is literally just how you get the line where you want it to go.
Yeah.
So since you don't have like with a traditional fishing rod, you have the like press and release button on the reel that like locks it and then you can reel it in. It's just a round thing at the very bottom. So when you bring the line back, you're actually pulling the line out with your left hand and then bringing the line around. And then as you move the pole forward, it takes the line that you grabbed with your left hand and puts it further out into the water.
Interesting.
And then you kind of just, once you get it to the point where you want, then you kind of just wait. It's
maybe it'll be less
when you fish in rivers. It's a little different from what I know, but I've never gotten the chance to fish in a river, because where would I have done that?
I know, Nebraska sucks.
Exactly.
So
Um,
let me take you. Let me come over to Idaho. I'll take you out into the great outdoors.
I don't
We'll
want to
go
have to
find
buy
a river.
waders, dude.
What?
Buying waders, ugh.
That will suck. That's true. I don't really want to do that, but I suppose that's kind of.
That's
I guess
what you would do.
if you look at fly fishermen, like stock photos of fly fishermen, they're all in waders. So.
Well, yeah, that's because you have to stand in the middle of a river and gosh
Of
dang
the freaking
fly fish.
river. Fair enough.
Um, but when I was a kid, my family we had one vacation a year,
Yep.
and we went down to Orchard. That was our vacation. We went down to
You went
Orchard.
to Orchard? Orchard,
yep,
Nebraska?
yep.
Gross.
That was our vacation, and there was a trout resort that we would
Okay.
stay there for like, I don't know, maybe a week, and it was right around my birthday. We would catch trout. That's what we would do. We would go there and we would just put pole in the water and fish. It was awesome.
Good on you. I'm glad you enjoyed that, but that would be a terrible vacation.
So the beauty of fishing for trout, for specifically rainbow trout, is what we caught. Is they are like acrobatic fish.
Oh yeah.
So like they are super aggressive on the line, and they are the ones that like jump out of the water.
Cool.
And do a ton of stuff like that. So those were always the favorites to catch. Although, like crappie were pretty all right.
Yeah.
I crappie fished a lot towards the end of when we like stopped going there. But yeah, I loved fishing. There was at one point in time, Grant and I went fishing down at the, one of the places here in Norfolk. We went fishing and it got like super cold, and like wet and rainy, and we only had one jacket, and so Grant and I fit both of us into the same jacket.
Nice.
And like one like in sync ran back to where like shelter was. It was great. It was a hilarious time.
Oh my gosh.
I would do a fishing stream.
Oh my gosh. We'll have to here's what we'll do. We'll get a GoPro like 10, one of the ones that have like the built-in stream capabilities, and we'll take it and we'll just set it up on a tripod, and just you guys can just watch us fly fish, I guess.
Oh, I mean that
Patreon
is a legitimate content. That is a legitimate thing that people will watch.
Oh well, yeah.
I actually talked to Grant and I was like, Grant, there's totally a good opportunity here because he's doing a whole bunch of real estate stuff where he's like tearing down like rooms and like refinishing houses and stuff.
Yeah. And
I was like, you could totally just set up like a camera and stream you doing that.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like, well, here's what he should do. You don't have to
interact. You can just do that.
Yeah, he should set up a camera. He should stream it. He should then condense it into YouTube videos, like a 15-minute YouTube video. He should then take the highlights from that, post them on Twitch, or not Twitch,
like
TikTok.
Instagram, TikTok and stuff.
Yeah, and Instagram and YouTube Shorts. And then he should, any audio that he has in it, he should have it written up and post as a blog post. So that from that one stream, he has like 20 different pieces of content.
And he was like, bro, that's, I never thought of doing that. I'm like, there are streams of literally just a camera pointed at a river that sometimes has ducks on it. Like, that's a legitimate thing. Now, some of them get really cool, where like if you donate bits, it will like feed the ducks. And so like you will send bits and then it'll like drop like little kernels of things into the water.
That's awesome.
Or like feeding hummingbirds and things like that. There are so many streams out there that are just like pointed, and they're like super successful too. And there's a lot of like craftsmen that like they just have a camera pointed at them while they like hand carve something or do stuff like that.
Well, there's a saying. There's a couple people that I follow that they just find these businesses and ask them how much they make and stuff like that. And there's a saying that they say all the time, which is there's billions in the boring. And if you like that type of stuff, like I'm not saying it's boring by any means, but like just in like the non-sexy stuff, the kind of the mundane stuff, like that's what the majority of people live their life doing and enjoying and stuff like that. So you don't have to go out and be making the most extravagant content, or you don't have to go and start a multi-million-dollar business. Like you can go buy a couple vending machines and make $6,000 a month. Like
life
like making money nowadays is not terribly complicated.
So Wander, that the like setting up your hedgehog cage on stream, there are so many streamers that do stuff like that.
Do it.
I watch a couple, like one of them has a cat and they just have a camera like pointed at the cat bed. So over 50% of the time the cat isn't even there. But in the times where it is, the chat like flips out. They're like, "Oh my god, the cat!" Like it's such a good way, and that'll like bring people in. Also, animals are hilarious.
Yeah.
Animals provide
So
like
much
when they
free
do
content.
something funny, you can clip that. And the people that like won't watch a funny clip of someone they don't know will watch a funny clip of an animal that they don't know.
100%. It's because people hate people but love animals.
Oh, everyone loves animals except for those
Everybody
that
loves
don't.
animals. But those guys are freaks.
We don't talk about them.
Hot take.
And so, and I've mentioned before, like one of the things that I want to do either on Table Scraps or just as like separate individual streams is I want to like show off what you guys do,
Oh, that'd be
like,
fun.
and are good at. Like DJ, you could have a completely silent stream where all you do is draw a map with a good camera.
Good.
Like just a good camera pointed at a blank piece of paper where you draw a map.
That'd be cool.
And you could do that for like an hour to 2 hours.
Put a little mic over in the corner so you hear like the pencil scratching noises. Make it a
Oh
little
yeah,
ASMR.
turn it into an ASMR thing. Absolutely. Lydia drawing, Grant and Drew like making music or something like
mixing a
that.
song.
100%. Like once
That would
Grant
be a
gets
fun
like
stream.
a MIDI and stuff, like able to
Oh my
connect.
gosh, you know what we should do? We need to get Drew and Grant on a stream, and then they work together with the comments to make a song.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be fun.
And I've talked to Grant about that, and he was like, "Yeah, 100%." He was like, "Aaron, do you want music for when you are like drawing on table scraps?" And I was like, "Yeah, you should compose it on table scraps." He was like, "I could probably do that."
Yeah, 100%.
Even a video of Drew editing the like YouTube video or a podcast of one of our previous streams.
Yeah.
People
kind
will
of fun.
watch that, and the cool thing is you can still learn from that too.
Oh yeah. Like even if he's not like explaining what he's doing, but you're just like watching it, 100%.
And then like every once in a while he looks at the chat, and if someone asks a question, he can, and who's like, "Hey, why did you click that button or do that thing?" And then he can be like, "Oh, well, that does this." Done. Call it good. The amount of things that we do in our daily lives that people don't know how to do is incredible. Like, so my brother, at one point in time, dated Dr. Lupo's wife, if you know who Dr. Lupo is.
Yes.
Which is hilarious. She was my babysitter. It was funny. Because I didn't know that until he was like, "Hey, blah, 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 blah." But she advised him, my brother, to like stream like architecture stuff or photography. And they were talking to my mom about it. And he was like, "You are an incredible baker, a good cook, and you know how to garden. Like, really good with plants and stuff like that."
What isn't he good at?
No, I'm talking about my mom.
Oh.
But they're like, you could easily like get like a camera and just set up a stream or a blog where you write about like baking or gardening or anything like that, canning food. And like people will pay to do that because they don't know how. Like there's so many like old trade skills that people just don't know how to do. And I think that's something that we should super capitalize on, because we've got a ton of like random skills that we have that 100% such a resource to use.
100% agree. I completely agree that everybody should just be making content.
Absolutely.
It's not difficult. It doesn't have to be high quality. It doesn't have to be great, but just make something and see what happens.
And even if it doesn't like pan out that you're like making thousands of dollars or anything like that, you can make a one-time investment that will over time provide you money for doing things that you were going to do anyway.
Not terribly difficult.
Like,
Not terribly difficult. Not terribly like no reason why not.
yeah, it's like
there's no reason not to do it.
the amount of time spent to like press the stream now button.
Although, I don't know. Someone might say that you're a horrible DM.
Well,
So.
I mean, 4 out of 10 would not watch. Terrible
4 out of
stream.
10 would not watch.
Horrible group of people.
Like,
I ban them.
Lydia,
Banned.
how's the stuff coming?
It's really cool.
Also, Lydia,
Yeah.
are you doing art right now?
I am.
Do you have your brace on?
No.
Oh, that's a no. Go put it on, young lady.
No.
Yes.
Lydia, you asked me
Yes.
to do that whenever you
I'm
were.
working on my iPad. I'm not like drawing.
I don't think
That
are you,
so you're
are you
even more
bent
hunched over because your iPad isn't as
Dude,
big as your
you're not
computer and it's
wrong.
on the desk.
So you should
You're
probably
not
get that brace
wrong.
on. Hey, here at the
Lydia.
Paper Dungeon, we encourage safe practices.
Go put the brace on.
That means I have to get up.
Yeah,
Get up.
No.
Do it.
I'm
I'll kick you from the Zoom chat. I'll do it. I'll kick you from the Zoom party.
second.
I'll do it.
Ow.
If you would have had your brace on from the start, less painful. Guarantee it.
True.
So,
Oh.
by the way, this is where we get to the point where I recommend that we start an ASMR channel.
So today we're going to be
No,
working
don't
on
stop.
some
I
art.
hate it. Why?
I first need to put
Oh,
on my back
no.
brace because from years of doing art, I have developed some pain in my lower back, and so I have this nice back brace that makes sure that I have good posture while I'm drawing.
You did go away. No, but stuff's actually like, coming along really well. I'm really excited for you.
I'm glad. It'll look so much better when you're not in the hospital for back problems.
Hey. No.
Oh man.
So,
Now
yeah.
this is the question. I have a question for both of you here. We've been streaming for roughly an hour and 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Do you think we have more to talk about for another 45 minutes?
No.
Do you think that it's worth it?
I mean,
for me.
For a D&D stream, currently what we have talked about is content creation and fishing.
No. Let's be clear here. We're not in the D&D section. We're in the just chatting section of Twitch.
Yeah, no, but see, here's the thing. Like, to the 6 of you guys watching, first of all, you're great. You're all rad. But I want to see what Lydia's working on, and if you guys are here, that means I can't see what Lydia's working on.
that's
No,
fair.
because you're not going to see it until everybody's here, and
Because I wanna
not
play
everybody's going
Minecraft.
to be here for another like hour.
But that hour
So-
would allow me to get some form of food.
So I think, as much as I love the 6 of you guys, I think it's probably best to call it.
He's got a fair point.
Fair. That is fair.
It's got a fair point. Thank
Unless I
you.
told Ryan I played Minecraft with him like
Oof.
right now. So
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to this
Yeah,
very
thank you.
much shorter episode of Table Scraps. Sorry for the length. My throat is dying. On the bright side, it lets me say Between the Rows title, like Between the Rows, 1871.
no. What's the new one?
The Sins of the Far.
Yeah.
The theater voice, like
Sins of the
stuttering is
far.
hilarious.
Neil, if you come on Monday,
Oh
You'll get.
You'll-
you won't even
you'll
need a
get-
beat. It'll be the
so
whole
good.
you'll get a
Oh,
good
it's gonna be so
peek.
Good. It's
darkness
so good, you
between
guys.
stars.
Oh no.
I guess the last announcements that we have are, hey, as Liv has been kind enough to show. First off, Lydia has a cool store. She does art, and then now it's on shirts and books and things. And you can get hardcover notebooks.
Yeah.
You can get hardcover notebooks. I
And
love
little
hardcover
little
notebooks.
boxes. Oh wait, no,
It's
sorry.
crazy over here.
And that's super cool. So you should buy our stuff. We have socials like TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter that we
All
never
the
use,
things.
but we do use the TikTok and the Instagram I think that we theoretically do have a Facebook, but I don't think anyone's ever touched it.
We have a Facebook page,
Out
Yeah.
of
but
necessity.
we haven't posted anything about it because
Out of necessity for
I
the
don't
fact
know
that
how
we need
Facebook
one.
works, so
Yeah.
nothing.
So, like, I
But
don't
maybe
think any
one
of us
day.
have or use
Maybe
Facebook
one
anymore.
day.
But we just got it just in case if we
Well, it's
ever
all
want
about the
it.
metaverse now.
That's right. Pretty soon, we're going to have our own studio in the metaverse where you guys can come and virtually watch us play D&D.
Yep, from like two-way mirrors. It'll
It will be like a talk show or like Friends, like when they were filming Friends. And they
Yeah,
had like
a live studio audience.
Live studio audience. That's what it will be.
That's
actually a great idea. You know how much
that would be really good.
Hey, we're copyrighting it right now. Nobody can take it. We did it.
Mental property.
Yeah.
Other than that, we have a show on Monday that we stream. It's Dungeons & Dragons. Really cool. You should be there, watch it. That's where most of our content comes from. It's awesome. Other than that, share us with your friends. That's the best thing that you can do to help us.
Yeah, 100%. Please share us with friends and family.
It is a blast. We love seeing new people show up. Join our Discord. That's a thing that we have.
One fun thing coming up this year is I will be working on projects to summarize what we've done so far. So then it's easier to recommend to people because then they don't look at like 50 episodes and are like, oh my god, that's so much to catch up on. Mm-hmm. No, then you can just watch what I make and then they'll catch you up and then you just tune in when you can.
And they're going to be super cool and arty because Lydia's good at art.
Yeah.
It'll be awesome.
It'll be great.
So, wait, hold on. I just realized that in order to leave, I actually have to find the right page. Oop, nope. Found it. Last thing that I have to say is good luck and Godspeed. We will see you all next time, Dungeoneers.
So long, bye.
Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.